Alright, so heading into inside information, there's a little bit of stuff in here where we're just going to be doing some stuff out of order in order to get it done fastest. Warm Welcome didn't really have too much of doing stuff out of order as much as it had just doing things and abusing things like door fade-outs and such. But inside information actually has some nice out of order stuff in it. So I'm going to be doing my best to explain all of that. The very first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be heading in here. And we're going to be setting a clip warp in what is going to, at first, seem like a really weird place to set a clip warp. But I promise it'll make sense once I get to it. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be heading up here, and I'm just going to be running straight through this cutscene to make sure that my clip warp is set somewhere over here in this general area. Then we want to hop over this little gate right here. Enter this area here. And if we just kind of be careful with our movement here, we can make it so that Smog doesn't catch us. Grab the golden cup, and what we're going to do now that we have the golden cup is we're going to hop onto this little pillar. Again, if you didn't catch that, all I really did was just kind of, hopped from where the cup was up onto this little shelf, and then hopped from here onto this pillar. From this pillar, just do a long jump and jump attack over here to this area. If you do miss it, or if you get long jump glitch or something, the easiest way to get up is to just jump on this block and jump from the block up here. But we're going to be clipping into this little ledge right here, which you can't really clip into it from, like, say, holding this ledge very well. You kind of just want to do a straight jump into it, and then jump out like this to get stuck. This clip warp doesn't really save as much time as it looks like. It saves like 1 second, but this clip warp's most useful feature is to make sure that you have your clip warp set over here. You don't want to have it set any farther over than, say, like right here. The best place to set it is obviously just over here, right behind this little fence area. And I'll be explaining why that is in a minute. But we are going to be wanting to hold our clip warp through this cutscene that comes up. The easiest way I've found to do that is to do a long jump and jump attack from right here. Then just press start twice as soon as you get the chance to skip those cutscenes. My clip warp should be set exactly where it was. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to head back into here, and there are two ways that you can clip warp back up. The obviously more difficult way is to use another pedestal warp, which, considering the amount of lag you have in this room, is really annoying because pedestal warps are almost impossible to pull off when there's any sort of lag. But you can always do a pedestal warp to get back to your clip warp position, which, obviously, it doesn't seem like it's really saving any time to do that. Obviously, the easier method would be to clip right here into this little corner. Now, it might seem like this isn't saving any time, because I've literally clip warped, what, like a foot away. But here, as you can see, Smog cannot actually see me right now. And this is a very good thing. This is actually the best possible outcome. So what I want to do now is I want to hop onto this little fence, hop up here and grab this ledge, and then hop as far over to the left as I can to grab this. If you go any farther over to the right, like if you are, say, on top of this little thing, you will actually hit Smog's visibility trigger and cause him to be able to see you. So you definitely don't want to be over that far, which is why I hop over here. But now we can grab a bunch of extra items and not even have to wait for our ring to refresh at all because Smog can't see us. So I'm kind of just going to head over this way, trigger this switch right here, and then head down here to grab this item right here, this plate. The gold also isn't a concern to me at all because, again, Smog can't see me, Smog can't hear me. There's no way of Smog catching me unless I touch him. Which, again, is really convenient because it saves a considerable amount of time with both grabbing items and actually climbing up these chandeliers. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, there is one more thing that I have neglected to mention, and that is the very fastest version of the route would actually have you still keeping your clip warp all the way back in that area. However, I'm not going to be doing that because there is a version of the route that is just barely slower that's also a lot more tolerable. Because obviously the faster version of the route would require you to hold your clip warp throughout the entire next section as well, which is the Smog Chase section. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to get through the Smog Chase section and then reset my clip warp, as you'll see here in a moment. going to go ahead and navigate through this whole section, hopefully not die. But what I'm going to be doing is at the very, very, very end of the smog chase section, I'm just going to be standing still where it ends. Maybe run a little bit forward so I set my clip warp a little bit more over here. But you just want to make sure your clip warp is set about there. And then before the cutscene triggers, you want to start jumping again to make sure that your clip warp is actually set in that area, and that as soon as you respawn over here, it's not getting instantly reset. As you can see, I'm kind of still mashing the jump button right here. But my clip warp should be set somewhere over there in that general vicinity, which is going to be really nice for me here in a second, because it's going to give me a much more convenient way of getting back over to the switch that I need to hit. There it is. Now what we're going to do is we're going to be doing a weird long jump across this gap just right here. Again, jumping up as soon as we can. If you kind of just snag this little area or hug it a little bit, you can make it through there just fine, and then just hop up and grab this railing. From this railing, we climb back over here, we do a jump up onto this ledge, and then we can do a jump up onto this ledge. From here you can see there's this chain barely hanging down. You can jump up and grab it, and then climb up the chain, just like this. Up to this area right here. Again, holding your clip warp this whole time. We're going to be activating the switch, and then right as soon as we activate the switch, there are two ways that we can clip warp back. We can either use this little ledge right here, or obviously we can do a safe pedestal warp, which again, with how finicky they are, I wouldn't recommend it, but I'll go ahead and just show that off once again. And as you can see, I got warped back over to this general vicinity. I'm actually not quite where I wanted to set my clip warp. I wanted to set it like over here more, but the place where I actually set it is fine. As long as you're fairly close to this area. Obviously, optimally, it would be set like somewhere over here. And with the super optimal route where you hold it throughout the whole smog chase and everything, it would be set right here. Either way you do it, your clip warp should be set somewhere in this area, so all you have to do is just climb back up. Grab this right here, which is the one that we just hit the switch for. And now what we're going to be doing is you would head over here. You would grab these right here. And then the easiest way to get over here is to kind of just do a long jump and jump attack onto these funky looking things. Hit this switch on this side, just drop down over here. Which, it can be a little bit annoying to actually drop down because you can die really easily. But you just drop down right here, you grab this. And those are actually all 4 dwarf items. So it seems like, now that we have them, it would be a great time to give the dwarves their items. Well, not really actually. Because we can do a little bit better. See, there is one more thing that we have to do in this level, and that is this elevator down here. There's a door way, way, way down there that we have to bring all the way up to the top. And no matter what we do, we have to wait for that door to make it to the top. So there is a little bit of a skip that allows us to make it to the top a little bit faster. And if we use that, we can actually get into this area considerably faster than if we waited for the door to raise up all the way. But even with the elevator skips that we have, we still have plenty of time to spare. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be setting up what we call the elevator skip, and then as the door rises up, I'm going to give each of the dwarves their items. It is important to note that you do have to talk to each dwarf twice in order to give them their items. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to long jump down. Don't do a jump attack or anything, just do a regular long jump down. And once we've long jumped down here, we're going to go ahead and just bypass the first block. And we're going to head straight to the second block. Now, another note that I should make is, it is technically faster to do the second block afterwards as well, but it's a lot more difficult to try to do the second block while also holding your clip warp. So the optimal way to push the second block in is to grab it from this side, roll it once, grab it from this side, and roll it twice. And the second block is exactly where it needs to be now. So now we're going to head up to the third block. The third block, the optimal way to get it in is to just roll it twice this way. And the third block is exactly where it needs to be. The fourth block is the more difficult one in that regard, because the fourth block doesn't have a position where you can just roll it perfectly into position. It does have to be pulled just a little bit. The best way that I've found to move the fourth block is to roll it thrice this way. grab it just barely from this side, roll it twice this way, and then pull it slightly to the left so it's about here, lined up with that white corner like that, and then pull it a little bit back so it's lined up about there. And the fourth block should be in a good position now. Now we're just going to climb back up to the dwarves, and we're going to be setting our clip warp over by the dwarves. The easiest way to climb up is just kind of to navigate up these ropes, and from this rope do a jump and jump attack over to this ledge. From here you can just climb up this rope, up to this ledge, grab this ledge, climb up this chain, and set your clip warp right here. Now all I have to do is just go back down, move that first block into position, and clip warp back up. You can't use a save pedestal warp because that save pedestal does unload. However, the fastest way to clip warp that I found is to grab onto this ledge right here, strafe into this little area, and press B twice. Obviously, of course, the clip warp method that I showed off a minute ago isn't the only clip warp method. It's definitely the fastest to get up there, but technically the clip warp that you use, as long as you clip warp up in time to do everything, doesn't really lose time because of the fact that, obviously you're waiting for the elevator to rise anyway. The other clip warp method that I've seen used quite frequently is, this one over here up by the fourth block, where you kind of just clip into the wall and jump off to just warp all the way back up, which I'm trying to get to right now. The most annoying thing about this one is obviously if you're slow you won't have time to talk to the dwarves. But that is the alternate clip warp, is just to jump into that corner and jump back out. You want to talk to each of these dwarves twice. I generally prefer to make sure that each one actually gives me courage points, and then I know that I've done it properly. Now we just want to cross the gap and wait over on the other side. It doesn't really matter how we get over to the other side of the gap. At this point, like, we're not really losing time to doing this, so we can run around the gold. There is one more thing that I will point out, just because this is all quests. And that is, if you get to this side early, and you're within this part of the area, so not outside of this door frame, if you're not on this side of the door frame, the final quest actually won't trigger. So if you are, if you do get to this side early, you want to make sure that you wait out here until those courage points jump to you. And then obviously once you've got the quest, you can kind of just start running at the stairs until they let you up. The stairs will take a little while to actually let you up. They always will. It's inevitable. But as you can see, the elevator is not anywhere near me yet, and I can already just run straight into the stairwell. So it does save a considerable amount of time to do that block skip, even though, like, it seems like we're wasting a lot of time just moving blocks. Just absolutely make sure that you definitely give the dwarves all of their stuff. Otherwise, obviously, you haven't done all the quests. You can see from here that I have done all the quests. So let's go ahead and finish the level. And that's really all there is to inside information. So in the next video, I will be covering Gathering of the Clouds.